It's March 17th, we're at the NODA offices at 467 East Jackson, Lake Orion, and we'll call this meeting to order. We have roll call, please.
John, absent. Thurber. Here. Pearson. Wilson.
Hold on a minute, this is Bill. Yes, Bill? It's at NODA. We're at the offices. We're live on television right now, Bill. You're a guest caller. Okay.
We do accept call-ins.
Call Curtis Wright, maybe. Okay, we'll do that we'll have some of our staff in the background do that. Oh, okay, thanks. Bye. No. Okay. Anyways, did we do roll call?
Not yet. I had got part. Middleton, Thurber, Pearson.
Here.
Brenda Wilson.
Yes.
Joe Young here. Chris Barnett. Ken Brand. Lori Fisher.
Yes.
But Cran was absent. Roberta Habowski.
Yes.
Eric Wilson was absent. Kathy Elvis.
Here.
James Barnard. We have
Okay.
6.
We can all stand for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, approval of the agenda.
So moved. Support.
Any questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, approval of the minutes. Everybody look those over? You said the motion? Any
Support.
seconds? Support. No discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, director's report. Lynn?
Good afternoon. Happy St. Patrick's Day, everyone. February, we had a busy month. We were up 15% over last year. And we are in the process of getting our 6 new vans. There's 2 of them in our bay. I'm not sure if you've seen them coming in, but you'll definitely want to take a look at them on the way out. And we also have the paperwork for our new MV1 vehicle. And there's rumor that it may be on the lot in Smart Slot, so we might be getting that sooner than we thought. We had an in-service day last Saturday for NODA and all our employees. Doug and I did some training for customer service, general issues, wheelchair training, evacuation procedures. And we also gave the employees an overview of our tablets that are on order and should be operational in the next couple of months. And then we had our CARE Work-Life Solutions representative come out who gave the Department of Transportation training to the employees on drug and alcohol training. And then Doug and I also had supervisor training for reasonable suspicion. Included in our packet today is a draft of the restructuring of NODA to an Act 196 authority that Attorney Robert Davis has prepared for the board to approve. This will make NODA an official authority, which will help us to be able to levy taxes as well as to be involved in investment pools and so forth. I appreciate all Mr. Davis has done for us and on his behalf. I'm working on the expansion grant currently to offer a fixed route system from Myers in Oxford to Great Lakes Crossing Mall. They just announced this JARC grant opportunity, and they haven't allowed any new expansion projects in many years, so that's why I'm applying for it. And tomorrow is our Lions Club race that we're using our Lion for the NODA, which is at the Knights of Columbus in Lake Orion. Tickets are still available at $25 per person at any time. Our next meeting is April 21st at Orion Township. Thank you.
Okay. Anybody like to receive and file or any comments?
So moved.
Receive and file?
Sure.
Or do we have a comment? Okay, made that motion?
Support.
If there's no other further comments, all those in favor of receiving and file, say aye.
Aye.
Okay. We'll move on to approval of public comments. Anybody from the public? Cody scoot out already? No comments, Cody? Okay, not hearing any. We'll move on to approval of financial activity. A, approval of the bills.
Yes, the check detail I just passed out. There's a total of checks and debit transactions of $66,696.85.
I'll make the motion to approve the the bills of $66,696.85, March 1st through 17th, 2016.
Support.
We have support. Any comments? Not hearing any, can we have roll call on this?
Thurber?
Yes.
Pearson?
Yes.
Wilson?
Yes.
Young, yes. Fisher?
Yes.
Lebowski?
Yes.
Okay, financial activity, informational.
I'll make a motion to receive and file.
Support.
Any comments? Not hearing any on that, we can just, all those in favor say aye, I believe.
Aye.
Anyone not happy with it? Okay. Number 9, old business. Do we have any old business? I guess I'm the oldest here, so there's no business. No, I guess you got me beat then, yeah. Okay. New business, any new business?
Our new business is Mr. Davis.
Letter A.
No, we're down here.
Oh.
Mr. Davis is A. Oh, yeah, we can go on to A, which is NOTA for Mr. Davis then. Mr. Davis, can you explain everything?
Yeah, I can be brief. There's a packet, I think, of extra copies
Does everybody have one? Or?
Yeah.
of the materials. You know, we spent a lot of time looking back at how NOTA was formed. And the best history is that you were formed under the Urban Cooperation Act with a series of interlocal agreements. And I previously attached those for some of you to review. Being formed with interlocal agreement under the Urban Cooperation Act does not allow NOTA to have taxing authority as an independent authority. You rely on monies from the member communities and/or taxation by the member communities. Converting NOTA from an intergovernmental agreement, urban cooperation entity, you're automatically qualified to elevate yourself to an authority under Act 196. Under Act 196, NOTA would have expanded powers. The members who are currently in NOTA would automatically be members of NOTA. Everything would really stay the same. You would have new articles of incorporation, and we would have new bylaws restating everything that you basically have in your bylaws right now. The biggest change, the most noticeable change would that you would have the right to tax the geographical area of your membership through NOTA as opposed to through the individual communities. And that was a right, among other investment opportunities that NOTA was interested in pursuing. The process would be that NOTA would approve the articles, which is what we were maybe going to do this evening if there was, it might be you want to wait until there's more people or some more review, but the process would be that NOTA would approve the new articles. The articles would then go before the legislative bodies of your members, come back fully signed. We would then publish the articles and file them with the state, and you would be a Act 196 authority, and we would present new bylaws, and we would amend the interlocal agreement to reflect what has happened here. Structurally, it doesn't change you at all. It really doesn't do anything to you from an operational standpoint. It really is the investment opportunity and the opportunity to have taxing authority. Under provisions of Act 196, member communities can still terminate and withdraw from NOTA. There are many opportunities to do that, and it really just requires a majority vote of the legislative body of your member community, followed by a 2/3 vote of the members of NOTA as a whole, the board. And provided there's no NOTA tax levy pending, you're out. If there is a NOTA, if you're in the middle of a millage time period, the millage would continue, and then the services would have to continue, and then you just fade out when the millage expires. Right now, NOTA doesn't have any millage or any taxing going on because you're not allowed. So upon the adoption of these articles, there's also a time period when member communities could opt out of NODA if they chose to do so. So there are termination provisions, which I know some of you would be concerned about, because the taxing authority of NODA under Act 196 would be a geographic taxation where the majority would control. So you really could have situations where a pocket of folks may not be in agreement with the proposed taxation, but the majority of the folks in the geographic region forming NODA are, and therefore it could pass even if it was contrary to the will of your independent member community. So there are lots of advantages. As we started looking at this kind of a unique area of the law, and I think it's, now understanding it, I think it was envisioned that authorities would give birth maybe under one law. They would mature into these interlocal agreements and maybe have multiple members. And the next logical step would be they would grow into an Act 196 authority with their own investment and taxing powers. I think it's, when you look back now, you can see the natural progression of the state statutes. So what we prepared for you this evening was, I thought that you would want to be able to have in your reading was a little bit of the current NODA and a brief history of Exhibit A. Exhibit B is the full text of Act 196, and Exhibit C is the new articles that I prepared consistent with Act 196. And the Exhibit A is your current July 15, 2010 interlocal agreement among the contracting parties who currently form NODA. All of them would automatically go into the new NODA. Exhibit B is good reading, it's the entire act, and Exhibit C are the articles that I drafted, which would be, new NODA, for lack of a better title. It doesn't appear to me that we're in a time crunch. There's no deadline that I see that we're working against. It would be nice to move the articles forward and get them on the agenda of the member communities, but I would leave that to your discretion this evening. It's a fairly significant event, converting to this type of an authority. And you would be voting on step one tonight if you did.
Well, what I'm looking for on this is, first of all, it's just a motion to take this back to all of the municipalities to review, and then come back the next meeting to tell us if they're satisfied with this or if there's any issues.
Well, it actually works a little bit in reverse. It's this body approves the articles and then sends them to the communities to see if they agree with it. And you need them to vote by majority votes saying yes. So then it all comes back to you as yeses. But step one would really, we could do that, Bruce. We could ship it to the communities for input and comment. But we wouldn't be shipping it right now to the communities to approve unless this body.
Just to discuss is what I'm looking at, to come back to the next meeting and then tell us when the board could vote on it, if we want to move forward.
Okay.
Because we're missing one community, and I'm afraid that to vote on that, if we to approve it or not.
Can we discuss a few of these issues now?
Yeah, you can go ahead. Yep.
I have a question. As you guys know, the Regional Transportation Authority for Southeast Michigan has been developed, and there is going to be a vote in November, probably a millage. And where would that, if that passes, everybody's in. All of Oakland County's in on that. There's no.
I don't think you get a lot of discussion on that.
So how would that place, would that interfere with how would
Doesn't
that
interfere-
work?
it
How
does-
would this work then?
It does not interfere with it, it's a separate issue, but I know what you're saying is that the communities are gonna be hit probably unilaterally without a lot of ability to say no on this countywide program. I know you guys are gonna end up paying, you're all gonna end up
Everybody.
contributing to that. That doesn't have anything to do with what you're doing.
Right. But so as far as their regional transit authority, and this would be a transit authority, there's no potential clashes as far as.
We're just gonna pay, if they, for instance, if they ask for 1 mil countywide tax, we're gonna end up paying 1 mil and we're gonna get zero service out of them probably, if we already have the transportation authority, is that what you're saying?
No,
Not zero service, they have a plan.
They will be in your community.
They're gonna send an empty bus up and an empty bus back. Or maybe we can
Does
start.
that have to be approved by the county commissioners first? Or is
No.
that, it just,
No.
it's by
I think
petition?
The way that it is set up and the way that through the authority, it doesn't have to go like SMART SMART does have to go before the county commissioners first, but this does not.
I think what you're contemplating there, Bruce, is that now you're gonna have a payment to an authority where a bus is gonna come running through probably Rochester Road, right? And you're still gonna have NODA.
And they'll still be SMART too, for that matter, but.
Correct.
Yeah.
Well, they'll get stuck in Addison, so.
I just wondered if there was any sort of conflict with it, other than
And we can't opt out of that, right? That's a countywide.
if it passes for all 4 counties have to, Oakland, Macomb, Wayne, and Washtenaw. All 4 counties have to pass it. It has to be a general,
Right.
not each individual county, it has to be a,
It hasn't passed yet, it's a November issue.
right.
And I don't know if it's gonna pass.
Well, we can't really worry about that anyhow, can we?
No.
Because it's not gonna change our needs for our people.
Right, NODA will still be NODA, it's just
Correct.
having people hopefully coordinate better.
I saw on this draft copy, we used to have 3 voting members that were not part of the municipalities. Is there does Act 196?
No, you can still do that. I wasn't sure how you wanted to define that. That was one of them.
So I guess that's one issue I'd like the board to.
Your time's up.
No, it's a good, we looked at that provision pretty hard because I just wasn't sure you still used 3 people in that regard. I just wasn't sure.
Well, you have 2 here today.
Right.
so-
Yeah.
Right, I mean, you would want,
And that was actually going to be one of my questions
Right.
on this too, so.
I mean, you would want to keep that representation, right? For the extra.
That's up to them.
Yeah, the law actually,
That's true, it's up to us.
the law encourages it, but I just didn't know how you wanted
It has to be
to.
written in there.
And I think you can have more if you want.
Well, we kind of like having you guys, so.
Yeah.
I just saw that was missing. And then in terms of office, the directors, you have this 3 years. Is there any reason we don't match up with the election cycles?
No reason.
So I guess I'd suggest that we either do 2 or 4. And then you have the treasurer's going to be bonded. Is that something that has to happen?
Yeah.
Because,
I'm on it.
but I think this would have to be a separate bond.
I wouldn't think so.
But well, in our case, treasurers have never handled any actual cash.
You might be able to, there might be an exception. But generally, that's what Act 196 requires. And remember, we can put in some of your more operational issues into your bylaws. These articles were intended to hit the legal requirements of the law. In your interlocal agreement, you have like all kinds of stuff in there. from all different sources, legal, non-legal. Some of it, I'm not sure where it came from.
Okay, and then my last concern, I guess, is that the withdrawal provision, I tried to follow what Act 196 said, and it doesn't really look like it was that easy to get out of.
Well, if you look at the first, if you limit your analysis to the first 3 paragraphs under getting out, it really says if you want to get out, your community would have a majority vote and a resolution to withdraw. You present it here, you get 2/3 here, right? And then you're provided that you're not in the middle of the millage time period that's already been levied by NODA. You have to continue with that, and then you're out when the millage is over.
But does the millage run so that it's one ballot question, I guess, for each community? So it's not separate,
It's one.
Okay, so in order for it to...
Majority rules.
Majority rules for all communities.
So,
Yeah, you have to start looking at your NODA as a geographic boundary of the members. So you gotta start looking at yourself as not, and just the boundary. And the populace in the boundary becomes the voting folks for a proposed taxation. Now remember, just because you're converting to Act 196, it gives you taxing authority. You don't have to tax. It doesn't say if you're an Act 196 authority, you must tax. You guys operated a long time without any tax support, right?
You sound like you've been in government for a long time.
What's that?
Well, we have a $250 million.
We do.
Well, yeah, you do, and it's done well, I think. But prior to that, I understand, I think this was the first time you needed that. And I don't know what your needs will be in the future, but there would be no taxation without you approving that as a body. And it's not a shall standard. You have the right to go out for tax money up to a certain amount. So you're really just taking on a capability and a couple of new powers.
Okay.
My question's for Lynn. What's the driver behind this? Why are we doing it?
Well,
I can answer that.
yes, thank you,
Oh, all
Bruce.
right. Why are we doing this?
We were never an authority. Okay? We were just never authority. They never finished this. This was supposed to be, if you notice in our name, it's North Oakland Transportation Authority. It never got finished. So it was brought to our attention on our board that it was never finished as an authority. And so that's why we request that it get properly done and become an authority. Because what happens is, if you ask the townships, each one of them have to certify that we put this on for a millage vote, when in fact NODA put it on for a millage vote. So it should be the authority of NODA that's putting it on for a millage vote. But right now, the townships are saying we're putting it on individually. And what we want is NODA to put it on, because Addison Township, we didn't put it on last time, NODA put it on. So we want to clean this up so that it is an authority.
So going forward, does NODA have, NODA would still, let's say we had to put on another $250,000, just as hypothetical. Then NODA would have the authority to put that on the ballot in each of the municipalities without asking the municipality themselves? Is that correct?
They ask us, the authority here, we have to vote on it.
This
We're all represented.
authority would approve, yes, what you said is correct.
Does it change the current tax roll situation? Does it change the $250,000 we're doing now?
NODA wouldn't do anything until that expires.
Okay. All right.
Which is also consistent with your question a little bit. I mean, if you're looking at all these issues, your right to terminate or to get out of NODA, it's got some life to it because NODA is not going to have a taxing millage over the geographic area for a while. So you can, because there's already, the individual communities already have done that. And that is good for several more years on that.
A little further on that, we can talk about investment as well.
Mm-hmm.
That's been kind of sidestepped. What impact or what does this have to do with investing?
I contacted the source you talked to, and she
Right.
said, you actually need to be an authority, so she required that I send over the papers proving that we're authority. I said, well, I'll have to wait a little bit on that, so.
Call you later.
So, yeah. So
Okay.
that's actually how that part started.
It opens up avenues that you don't have right now.
Mhm. So that's what I suspected. In the meantime, I can talk to you about other
Sure.
options that I don't know if they require authority or not.
All right. Okay, thanks.
Anybody else?
Yeah, I do have one question, just so I fully understand. In the last, for the last millage that we did, if that were to have happened as an authority, it would be based on the majority from all three versus,
From all the members, right.
so it wouldn't have passed in one area and failed as it
No,
did in Addison? It would have been a overall
Yes.
overarching?
Yes.
Okay. That is, just want to make sure I understood.
Yeah, and that's why I was trying to lay that out a little. You may have a pocket, within the geographic boundary who maybe doesn't want, but they could be dragged into it as a member by the vote of the majority of, how it normally works, right?
Anybody else? Well, what I'm looking for is just a motion at this time, just for us to vote, to take it back to the municipalities, let everybody look it over. If they have any questions, I'm sure Mr. Davis will answer them on an individual basis, and then bring this back to the next meeting, and then we'll have a meaningful discussion, and then maybe at that time we'll have a vote on it.
That'd be great.
I guess my only concern would be the modification of the membership. Do we want to make the modifications
Sure.
that we want before we send it?
Yeah, because I wanted a little direction on that, and I think we want to keep 3. Do you want more?
Well, I think we should probably get Oxford's input though, and we're missing the villages.
It's always been the 3 townships, am I correct? Because the townships are,
No, I'm talking about
The three,
Like Brenda and myself.
Yeah.
well, as far as members, for voting members, but, oh, okay.
Maybe we just put their
Taxation
names
part.
in. Just put it right in the
We
area.
have it in there.
But you have to stay.
Well, honestly, I do know another Brenda Wilson, so I'm fine with that.
Wait,
She
I got
actually-
so lucky.
She works for my company,
You
so.
could have a double. There you go.
I know, it'll be great.
No, we'll keep 3 non-member members.
As voted on by the board or something like that.
At large?
Right.
What did we have, okay,
Yeah, you've always had 3.
and then we had the 2 villages. We never really had the 2 villages as far as taxation purposes, it was always through the townships. So
Right.
3 townships, and then, but we did have representatives from the village, both villages.
You'd
3
still have them.
villages.
They still would be they'd still have representation. So,
Anybody have any other comments?
When we talk 2/3 majority then, are we talking, there's 6 municipalities involved, so are we talking 2/3 of the municipalities, or there's?
no, 2/3 of the voting members of the authority, excluding the members from the community who wants out. So you need 2, you have to take, say if Addison wanted out, and you 2 were the members. Your 2 votes don't count. You need 2/3 of the rest. I mean, it's a pretty strong number. You have to have, I can't imagine that it wouldn't happen, but I mean, you need 2/3 of the balance of the sitting board members excluding your votes.
Well, in line, so we have 11 voting members and 2 non-voting members like we currently have,
Mhm.
right?
No, we have 12 voting
12
and
voting.
3.
3 non-voting, I think.
Oh, no.
Okay,
Well, current, no? Or historical?
It's yeah, the
There's
nine.
2 at large.
9 voting and
And 3.
9 voting, 3 voting, and then
You can have it unnumbered, any number you want.
Then we have appointments of non-voting advisory members. This is the first time I've actually seen since we've had many
Oh, I
conversations
understand.
about how many people were on the board.
It's a rare document. But I'm using that one because it's the only one that has a date on it and is fully signed. As Bruce said, there's just, guys have done so well without being what you're supposed to be. Just think what you'll be when you are what you're supposed to be.
So we have
Like a
nine
political
plus
slogan, huh?
Maybe you should just continue to function as you are. But it would be good to button this up.
Well, there's some holes in it, that's for sure, and that's why I wanted to cross.
Lori knows we did the same thing with cable. I mean, we look back at the history of the cable commission. And it was, so we redid everything at the cable commission to restructure everything.
What we're trying to do is save problems in the future. I mean, because we all had individual votes. Some went okay, some went back several times. It should be just one vote, one authority, and it should be run by one authority, which has the taxing authority.
It's your natural progression right now. So the motion is just to send it back. I can address it at the local communities, bring all our questions back in April, have a restructured document being made ready based on all the comments, and maybe we can get the articles approved in April. And it has to go back to the communities for resolutions of support.
And it'd be ready for May.
Correct.
So, does it, anybody have a motion that we send this back and let everybody look at it? Do we need that or not? We should
You're going to
have.
send it to the jurisdictions
Yes, send it back to
without
them.
making the changes in the board membership?
No, because we want to hear, there's probably going to be more questions from the jurisdictions, so I want to hear all the questions, get them all bundled up, and not make piecemeal changes.
That's fine.
Anybody have a
A
motion?
motion to authorize distribution of the proposed articles under Act 96 as presented for review and comment. So we bring it back within 30 days or
To the next meeting.
60 days?
To the next meeting.
Next meeting?
I think gives everybody enough time to have another board meeting, right?
That'll be April 21st.
Right.
Which will be held at Orion Township. Who made that motion?
I did.
Okay, I'll second it then. if nobody
Okay,
else wants to.
196, Joe.
Right.
Okay, we should have roll call on that, I guess. Or just all those in favor, say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Okay. Public comments? Any public comments?
Cody,
Okay. Move on to receive, file monthly rider and mileage reports.
So moved.
Support.
Any questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Board member comments. Anybody on the board have a comment? No comments? Entertain a motion for adjournment.
Support.
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? We are hereby adjourned. Next meeting, April 21st at Orion Township.